Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me today on the first episode of Cyber Llama Talks series. The idea of this series came up to my mind over the years of being in anti-malware industry and specifically developing malware detection and malware prevention software. Over years I have noticed that this industry been growing exponentially, and the number of people joined that industry has been growing exponentially as well. So currently there are many people with just a few years of experience, maybe 2, 3, maybe even 1 in our industry than actually people with 10 or 15 or 20 years of experience. And while some part of our industry like malware analysis and reverse engineering, we're lucky enough to have a lot of attention. There is a plenty of materials about how to reverse engineer, how to analyze malware, how to do red teaming, how to do blue teaming, how to do purple teaming, how to do penetration testing. There was very little, and there is very little materials available on the topic of how to detect malware and how malware analysis and malware detection technology has been evolving over the span of the last 15 to 20 years. And I think because of this lack of information, when new people join the industry and try to build anti-malware technology, they make a lot of mistakes which has been already made before. And unfortunately don't have any materials to learn from to understand why certain approach to security and specifically to malware detection just won't work, or while certain approach has been chosen as the one which works right now. And and that's how this idea of Cyber Llama Talks came to my mind. I would start this series with evolution of malware and anti-malware series of episodes. But I would really like not to stop here, because I really think that there is a lot of people in this community who have 20, 15, 10 years of experience, different point of views on how malware and anti-malware have been evolving, would be interested to share this information with the community. And that's why I invite to join. If you are anti-malware practitioner, if you've been in the industry, or maybe you're a malware developer or ex-malware developer and you want to share your expertise, your knowledge, your experience with the rest of the community, please just reach me out. I would be very happy to invite you to this series to talk about anti-malware. Now you would be thinking, who is this guy and why he wants to talk about 15 or 20 years of malware and anti-malware evolution? Let me introduce myself. I've been in this industry for about 15 years and counting. My focus and my expertise mostly lie on threat research, malware analysis, building anti-malware, sandboxing, machine learning and anti-malware, and many more areas which one way or another connected to malware analysis and malware detection and prevention. I also been lucky enough to have experience working in very different companies, anti-malware or antivirus companies in the different countries. I've been working in Dr. Web, Kaspersky Lab, Lastline, and now I'm at VMware. So I've seen malware and anti-malware industry from very different angles. Small company, big company, startup, gigantic company. I also been blessed to work with one of the most amazing people in our industry and learn from them. Teams of industry experts or teams of academia experts. And I think I was able to absorb a lot of different perspective on malware and anti-malware. And I also had some of my own ideas put in a multiple US patent over the time about malware analysis and detection technology. And I was also fortunate enough to touch a little bit the hacking scene, the white hat scene, playing in the CTF with the Litmore and Litmore Smoky Chicken team in 2009, 2013, and we had a great run. Those people were really one of the best as well. So I think by now I have pretty good understanding of what malware and anti-malware scene is and how it evolved over 15 to 20 years. But as I said, of course, I only would present my own point of view, and I would invite everyone else who has something to share to join me in this endeavor and share more knowledge with the community. I would like to commemorate this series to two amazing individuals and my very dear friends who unfortunately not with us anymore. They had both tremendous impact in both me as a human being and me as a anti-malware expert. I met Slava in 2007 at Dr. Web, and he was already established expert in the industry. And at the same time, what I realized when I talked to him and bounce ideas, and we had like a lot of discussions about things, he actually kept me as equal. He was my sponsor. He was driving my career forward, helping me learn. I was like a kid in second year of university. I barely knew how to reverse engineer malware, and he took me drive my career forward. I would never be in where I am without his help, with his mentorship, his friendship. I would forever will be thankful for that. And I also met Pasha at Kaspersky Lab, and he was an amazing person. He wasn't such a public figure as Slava was back in the day. He was just a great kernel level developer of anti-malware technology, and he actually dedicated his whole career through all these years anti-malware technologies, how to detect malware, how to protect antivirus systems, and how to detect ransomware in different clever ways. And he was just an amazing person who impacted me in very deeply and in a very positive way. And I miss both of these guys every day. I want to encourage everyone, if you have people in your teams, maybe junior people, to sponsor them, help them grow, see them thrive. It's worth it. You might be surprised how fast they grow, and yeah, it's also an enjoyable feeling, I think. So, okay, before you got completely bored with my side chatting, let's get back and talk about evolution of malware and anti-malware series of episodes. Who is this talk for? As I already mentioned, first of all, it is for software engineers in anti-malware industry. For people who want to learn and understand how the technology evolved and how technology currently works, and try to apply this knowledge in their day-to-day work to build better solutions. It also for reverse engineers and malware analysts, because while they involved in malware analysis every day, they very often left aside from development of detection technology, which to me seems to be a complete oxymoron, because to me those are the people who have to be at heart of any detection technology. And if you work at a company who develops any sort of malware prevention or protection, and you don't see reverse engineers embedded into core of your development process, you're probably in trouble because you're lacking a large amount of expertise. It is also for everyone who just want to learn more about anti-malware history, malware history, and technology, detection technology history. And prerequisites for this series of talks are very small. You just need to know a little bit about malware, what it is, read a few blogs, maybe if you reverse engineer a few samples, that's amazing. If you haven't, it's fine as well. We'll try to touch very core concepts, and I'll try to talk about everything on a high level, so you actually don't need the reverse engineering experience to understand how the technology works. But you also need to be aware about how operating systems, and especially a Windows operating system from Windows XP or Windows 2000 to Windows 10 or 11 actually work, and what are the file formats and specifically executable file formats those systems support. Because malware is software, and to understand how software has been evolving, you need to understand what environment that software actually works. It would be extremely hard, and it's extremely hard to talk about anti-malware technology in general. Like, hey, let's talk about every single technology which ever existed. Well, first of all, it's a lot of information, and the second, it's losing a lot of context of the evolution part. And that's the reason why I actually split it last 22 years into 5 different eras. And I will try to show you that in my opinion, each of these period of time actually has a very distinguished flavor in it. And there was certain event or certain characteristics which affected both malware and anti-malware technology development in a certain direction, in a certain way. In this series, every episode we'll cover one of these eras. In each episode, we would talk in more details about a few things. First, we will describe a key time characteristics of the era. Why is this era so specific? What kind of technological or political events might have been core and important to this era and possibly affected malware and anti-malware landscape? Then we will discuss the malware landscape. What were specifics of malware developed at that time, what new technology came up during that time, and also what kind of families and what kind of malicious business were associated with the malware of that time. And last but not least, we will discuss anti-malware technology of that period of time, how anti-malware and antivirus vendors, EDR or XDR or NDR vendors, were trying to fight against malware, and what kind of technology they were building, what new technology pop up in every era. So that's going to be very exciting. If you anti-malware expert and you know about malware detection, malware prevention, and anti-malware technology, please send me your feedback. Share with me what do you think about this series of talks. Join me if you want. Let me organize a discussion about topic you like in last 20 or 15 or 10 years about malware and anti-malware. Or maybe you want to share your experiences, real life experiences of how you are fighting malware. I think all of that would be very interesting for the community, and together we can make anti-malware technology better.